Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Monday night Talking Town Extra Time. I'm, of course, your host, The Gov. This is the show and the platform for fans by fans of the world's greatest football team, Ipswich Town F.C. And we are here to we'll briefly summarise our thoughts and things here on a Monday night of what is now Friday night's game. It feels like a long time ago since Town played Derby, but it was only Friday, the start of this weekend, just gone. And then, but of course, we'll focus more on tomorrow night's 7:45, I believe, kickoff away at Port Vale. We have got the Ale and Vale podcast joining us towards the back end of the show to give us the lowdown on Port Vale, player to watch, top goal scorer, expected formation, best away pub, best place to grab a burger or a meal before the game, best place to buy, all that sort of jazz towards the back end of the show. But we'll break it down from the ITFC perspective this side of it. Can we have 50 likes tonight, ladies and gentlemen? That'll be good. 50 likes. Let's smash that like button. Don't forget, hit subscribe if you're brand new to us. And we start the show with, of course, news that there has been a fixture in December, admittedly, changed from the Saturday to the Friday. The Fleetwood game, as Nick says here, another game moved Fleetwood to the Friday. The price of playing fantastic. Not quite sure it's the price of playing fantastic in this instance. Nick, they've moved it because it may clash with an England. Is it in English or a Welsh? England or Wales, one of the two, if not possibly both. Maybe playing in the World Cup. Last 16, last 32, one of the two. But they've moved it just to avoid that. So it's gone from the Saturday to the Friday, not on TV as far as I am aware. That may change, of course, or that may be updated. But right now, it's just been changed. Mike Denver, welcome to Unite Emmy back to England. Good evening, everybody. Craig says moving games to Friday night is a pain for many of us that have to travel for matches. Good evening, Kev, Stephen. Anthony Steele is here. He's got Bracknell tickets already in the bag. Good workout. Good afternoon, good evening, Mr. Work from Lustleworth. Saj says CM's ball and camera if he's fit enough. If not, then Humphreys. Good shout. We'll have that conversation. Is the car sorted? No, Adrian, not yet. Hopefully, Gavin and his special resin is coming tomorrow afternoon to sort the car out. Stephen, to be fair, he's nearly looking at the state of the window screens. They need a lot of fucking resin. Stephen Parry, B. Ball, Humphreys, and Kamara. And Burgess as bench options. Lots and lots and lots. Mark says NFL pajamas tonight. There's a reason why. I wasn't wearing this before we started, but one of the contributors is a New England Patriot fan. I am a Chicago Bears fan. I'll let you work out if the two are playing this evening live at 1 a.m. our time. It'd be well worth not staying up for if you're a neutral, because neither team's that great, but the Bears particularly play like they've never seen a football in their life. They play it a little bit like Ipswich Town did under Paul Jewell. You know, just like they've been plonked into a pitch and told to play football for the first time, and they're just not quite sure what the rules are. You can, of course, become a Talking Town fist stand-up by hitting the join button on YouTube or heading to our Ko-Fi site. Let's get things rocking and rolling. Let's go ahead and bring in that first. Let's bring him in. First of all, though, I want to share something with you because it's fun. It's funny money. It's Fun Day Monday. Get the words out. And this is from this is the post-game press conference from Bill Belichick following the Patriots' Week 4 defeat to Kansas City back in 2014. So this is him meeting the press directly after a defeat, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what he had to say. Now, imagine if Kieran McKenna took this tone tomorrow night. We get beat by Port Vale, and he just takes this tone and line with the local press.
What do you think having a 37-year-old?
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
We got to turn the page. I mean, we're going to sit there and talk about the Kansas City game for the rest of the season any more than we would talk about any of our big wins for day after day after day. You know, it's 24 hours after the game. You got to move on.
24 hours after the game, Brandon.
Well, I mean, I'm just asking,
move on.
you've done enough.
It was literally the moment after the game. We're on to Cincinnati.
We're on to Port Vale is what we are.
We're on to Port Vale. Bill, I don't know how he gets away with that sort of thing.
It's because he's the greatest of all time. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully he has an off night tonight. How are you, first of all, Brandon? Are you well?
I'm brilliant, thank you. Yourself?
I am very well. I just can't imagine any manager, Kieran McKenna or otherwise, meeting the press after a game. Take the Sheffield Wednesday
Roy
game. for
Keane.
example.
Roy Keane.
Even Roy Keane, I can't see him getting away with that. Like after Sheffield Wednesday, 2-2. So, Kieran, what are your thoughts on that? We're on to Plymouth.
We are.
So you're not quite sure the linesman's decision for the offside goal? We're on to Plymouth. He gives the press absolutely nothing. But
I think Paul Cook was getting into that. When he gets a bit bitter, he's not far off that, is he?
No, he's actually on YouTube this week because Dorking Wanderers have a YouTube channel, bunch of amateurs, and they play Chesterfield. So he's actually on there for a couple of minutes. For those that are, big Paul Cook fans, you may catch a glimpse of him. But back to the real life, back to the here and now. Ipswich Town 1, Derby 0. What are your thoughts and feelings as we sit here on the Monday evening?
I'm really happy, to be honest. It was one of those ones where I suppose we wasn't at our fluent best, but
no. Then
again, I can't think of a chance really that Derby created. The only bit of pressure was at the start of the game where I think the nerves was a bit obvious and we were struggling to clear our lines a couple of times. The ball was bouncing about in our box, but that was the only point in the whole 90 minutes where I was at all worried about Derby. And when Conor Hurricane was coming on, but that's just because, you look at the level of him. Yeah, exactly. And he's one of those players like that Brad Johnson. If they're on Sky, they normally score screamers, don't they? They do it for the Sky cameras.
They do for real. They do.
Really good team performance. We won. I think we won the physical battle against a team, and we weren't, especially at the top end of the pitch, we weren't really playing our physical players, were we? But it was Skipper Morsey leading the way.
That's true. Skipper Morsey, yes. Mike D, if Gov was an NFL player, what position would be? The low blocker. I'd be a guard, I reckon.
Long snapper.
Yeah, possibly. Do a little bit of work, but not too much. A kicker is always a good one. Sit on the sidelines for 58 minutes and then
Harry Kane wants to be an NFL kicker when he retires, doesn't he?
Come and win the game for your team. I mean, But no good thoughts there. Morsey leading the way. Before I bring in our next contributors, we'll have a quick look at the league table. It is looking all rather scrumptious at the top there. We are currently sitting in second, 33 to Plymouth 35, 3 ahead of Wednesday. So results kind of went our way this weekend, Brandon. In fact, when I say kind of went our way, obviously Plymouth and Wednesday both drew. Anything better than that is a defeat for either team. A win tomorrow could see us go back top, Brandon.
Yeah, let's hope so. I think you have to make sure that when the other teams around you draw or drop points, you want to take advantage of it. I think that there's been a couple of occasions when Plymouth have done that. I don't know whether I think Plymouth won when us and Sheffield Wednesday played each other. And we've got to look forward to games like that. And I was a little bit surprised about Plymouth. Obviously, they were 2-0 up, weren't they? Both of them threw away leads. So you have to look at the momentum in terms of you losing a 2-goal lead. Feels like a loss, really, at the end of the day, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. But Bristol Rovers, wasn't it? They drew against.
Yeah, they need a bounce back because, as I said, it's like a defeat when you throw away 2 goals. We know that. We had it with Wimbledon at home last year and things like that. So it does feel like a defeat, and they have to pick themselves up now and try and get a result tomorrow night.
They do. So Plymouth tomorrow night play Shrewsbury, who are 10th, not a million miles away from the playoffs themselves. And Wednesday play on Wednesday, just because they're Wednesday, so we've got to play on Wednesday. Say that in a Yorkshire accent, that's probably what happened. We've got to play on Wednesday. Not sure what accent I was trying to be. I was trying to be a Yorkshireman there, but it just didn't quite pay off for me. They play Bristol Rovers, so we're hoping for big things from Bristol Rovers once again. So to complete the lineup this evening is somebody who watched it on Sky. That's not the bad thing. The bad thing, I guess, is he was watching it with friends and family, and Town on Sky were never notoriously good. So my heart was going out to him. But the boys came
big
through.
Fish, Tom Jane.
I think the squad of 24-25 that we've got are good enough to do something in this league.
The squad's good enough to do something in this league. Those words are ringing true at the moment, Tom. Sitting second.
At the minute. Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
Not bad. The only thing better than second is top, son. You know, we're not doing too bad. But as I said, as I brought you in there, I was feeling sorry for you when you said how you were watching the game. How was the roller coaster of emotion sat in the living room with friends and family who were Nottingham Forest fans? Is that right?
Yeah. So for context, my father-in-law and brother-in-law to be are both Forest fans. Obviously, I live up here, so that was likely to happen. Maybe being around these parts, but. Yeah, basically they had incentive and they were like, yeah, I'll watch that game with you. That's fine. We all want Derby to lose at some form. So we watched it and I had to say, it's not usually this bad in places. From my perspective, and obviously everyone's got a different point of view on it, I thought it was a bit patchy, a bit scrappy, passes going astray a lot of the time. I thought we started really well, but yeah, we'll get into that. But I just thought, I'm not showing off the best Ipswich Town here, but when we scored, I was up, I was jumping around, and they were really excited by it as well. So,
absolutely,
all in all, it was good.
All in all, 3 points, a win. But I guess after telling people how great Town were, dominant possession-based team, they didn't really show up. Then, you know, Derby played their part for it as well. You've got to give them a little bit of a tip the hat. They came with a game plan, as you knew Paul Warne would do. But you know, sofa score. I'll pick up the best rated player and the worst rated player. I'll give you the best one if you like, Tom. They gave Wes Burns the top rating in a Town shirt. Fair, true, accurate. Was he the best player for us, or how did you see Wesley's performance on Friday?
Yeah, for me, Wes was the best. I've heard the Saturday show, and I think Morsey got a load of the plaudits, and I think he was excellent. I think he was very, very good. But I think with Wes as well, he's not really got into full gear at the minute, has he? Compared to what he had last season. So I think that performance, that goal, it was so important. And yeah, I thought really good performance, strong performance in front of our Sky hoodoo on a Friday night in a new kit, which people didn't like. So it was all lots of different things going on. And I thought Wes pulled it out of the bag, but I thought a lot of them did as well. I was really pleased overall with how we restricted Derby to doing nothing, essentially. I just thought we could have been a tad more composed, but I won't grumble at a win on Sky, so it's all right.
No, you must never grumble. Stephen Parry, he was good, but not the best. Also in the team of the week, Brandon, did you feel he was the best Town player on the pitch, the same as Tom did, or would you have said actually he was good, but he wasn't sort of deserving of the top rating?
Well, I was at the game with my normal mate who's an Ipswich fan, season ticket holder, and one of our mates who's a United fan. Although he does admit that he wishes that Ipswich played at a higher level, and he hopes that we go a long way. He hadn't watched Ipswich for a year or so, and he was really impressed with Marcus Harness. And I've got to say, I did like Marcus Harness. Was probably the only player who could get the ball on a half turn and then turn and run at the defence. He seemed like the only one who could really do that, especially in the first half. And if it wasn't for a decent block by Cashin early on in the second half, he would have got a goal as well. But yeah, I thought Morsey Harness were really, really good. But at the end of the day, Wes Burns is playing right wing back. He's got a goal, which has won us the game, and he's also won a penalty that should have put it to bed. So
Wes was given a 7.8 for context. Marcus Harness was given a 6.8 by Sofa Score. But you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. I wouldn't have given it to Wes myself, but the worst rated player they had at 6.45, my mistake, was you probably won't believe this, 6.3 even was Captain Sam Morsey.
Rubbish.
What are they judging it on? Did they watch the game? And well, I've actually answered that myself. If you're looking at stats wise, I'm sure Morsey didn't complete the most passes. He probably, he didn't create many big chances or anything like that. But what Sam Morsey does is the dirty side of the game that stats don't really represent. He broke play up. Every time the ball was loose in midfield, he would win it, regardless of whether it was against Conor Hurricane or Louis Sibley or whatever it was. Sam Morsey put a foot in, and doing that on a yellow card for 80 minutes of the game, the way he did, was unbelievable to me. You saw a couple of occasions when, if he wasn't on a yellow card, he would have went through.
Yeah.
Especially late on, I think he was breaking away and it was a 50-50 with their centre half. And I just turned around to my mate and I said, if he wasn't on a yellow, he's going through him there. But he was quality. pay very little attention to.
6.3, Tom. Just for context, that is the lowest rated score SofaScore had for any player on that pitch Friday night.
That's rubbish. It's complete. Yeah, I won't finish it. It's rubbish.
What did
but
Curtis
it's like-
Davies have?
6.4.
Rubbish. But it's like, when you've got a Premier League fantasy football team and like the players who you see play well don't get the points because they don't do all the work that we want to see, like the hard tackles. He got a yellow card, but from our point of view, he could have, he didn't, but you could have got a good yellow card in the game to stop something important happening.
Yeah.
For example, where that in our minds would earn a lot more points than it would on a statistics board or people maybe watching it who, I don't know, aren't Town fans, or maybe I don't know. I
don't know who watches it, how they do it. It was surprising. I'm glad I caught it because I wasn't actually gonna. That wasn't who I've written down here as the worst rated player because I didn't even look at Sam Morsey or Lee Evans to be fair because I didn't expect them to be anywhere near the lowest rated. It's only because as I was about to say it, it caught my eye. I was going to say I believe it was 6.5. It was Caden Jackson was the lowest rated player. Would that have surprised you a little bit, Tom?
I guess I could see why something like a SofaScore setup or whatever it is would rate it because he's not hit an open goal and he's missed a penalty, which on the face of it, you'd probably go, he's not had a great game.
Minus 1.5 for the penalty miss.
Yeah. But from my point of view, I thought he had a good game and he worked his arse off. He got us the goal in effect without scoring it. That he did all the work to make sure that Burns could get it off the post and hit it in. And I thought he just ran tirelessly. I thought he had a good game overall. So, 6.5 might be all right, maybe closer to 7. But, it's all right for me.
Lee Anderson says he did get the assist, Brandon. So,
goes down as assist. Didn't touch anyone else, did it? Off the post?
It didn't. No, it didn't. A big donation from David. Huge thank you there, David, for that €50. We do appreciate it. Thanks ever so much, David Burgoyne. I can't say his surname. Sorry, David, but thank you ever so much, my man. I should just cut my losses and ran there at David.
Yeah, just call him David. Yeah,
just call him, Dave. So Sam Morsey, lowest rated player. For context, there are substitutions that are rated lower, but they're subs. I would expect them to be fair. To be rated lower than if they've not come on and scored a goal instantly because they've got less time to impact it, I guess. Caden Jackson.
Quickly about Morsey.
Go on.
You would see this if I'm sure you sometimes watch some of the American sort of sport debate shows and things like that. When sometimes they're talking about a prospect, they go away from the stats and they always use the phrase, he passes the eye test.
Oh, yes, the famous eye test.
So I would say in terms of stats, understandable maybe if Morsey didn't get as high as some others, but if you use your eyes and the eye test, he was class.
Okay, I like that. I'll have that. Yeah, I certainly, as I say, didn't expect to see him as the lowest rated, but algorithms, as people have said in the chat, it's stats. It's is he got a good pass completion rate? Did he lose the ball too many times? Whatever it might be. Neil Ladapo didn't seem that interested to me when he came on, but didn't have too long. Lee could be the same team with Ball and Humphreys coming in. Jason and Ladapo was left up top with too big a gap between him and the midfield. We sat too deep. Says Jason. You agree with that, Brandon? Maybe SofaScore is taking a point off for a yellow. Even if it's a point off for a yellow, Kev, 6.3, that would still be 6.4. And I think Morsey should be in the 7s, in all honesty. But, I mean, Leaf Davis got a 7.5. Wolfie got a 7.3. But it is what it is. I don't know why or rhyme the reason. There'll be a reason for it. Paul P. Ladapo was strange on Friday. His body language was just, I can't be bothered. Almost not right there. I can't comment on that at all, really. But I don't know any situation inside of anywhere. Just know what I saw on the pitch, which, many have already picked up on. Overreaction Monday, then, a segment we do where you can take anything in the world, sport or otherwise, take the point and wildly overreact to it. You can be up here or down here. Last week, Owen said Erling Haaland was massively overrated.
Aged well.
Sorry?
Yeah, aged well, that.
This is it. It's not about aging well. It's the Overreaction Monday. This is how you feel on a Monday. You take something, you overreact to it in a wild, wild way. I'll go first, boys. I'll kick you off. I'll give you the tone. Caden Jackson is the best striker we have ever had at this football club. He works his socks off. He has strength. He has pace. He has intelligence. We have not seen this in many a year, if ever, in a blue shirt. How is that for an Overreaction Monday? There we go. I'll kick you off nice and easy. After there, everything will seem tame. Brandon,
I've got an Ipswich one and a non-Ipswich one.
give me both. It's Monday.
So the Ipswich related one is that at the 2026 World Cup, in the England squad, there will be Adam Webster, Luke Wolfenden, and Leif Davis. They will go to the next World Cup after this one.
Tell you what, after one decent performance against Derby on the TV, Leif Davis has catapulted himself into the England team, according to Brandon. Why not? Why not? And before your second one, Tom, your Overreaction Monday, my man.
Christ, I've really under-egged this now. I didn't think it'd be as big as this. I've just got...
Overreactions.
okay. I was just going to go for my weekend. Running with a hangover is underrated.
Running with a hangover is underrated.
Yeah, people should do more of it.
It was chucking it down all weekend.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. But anyway, that's me.
Fair dues to you, Tom.
No. This is not on. This is. I've got to unpack this.
It's Overreaction Monday, Martin, and you just said Kane Jackson is the best striker Ipswich have ever had.
He is.
Yeah,
Running
your
with a
take was
hangover
worse than mine.
is all right.
It's not about the take being right or wrong. I'm just struggling to get past anybody with a hangover just not reaching for the Sky remote, a takeaway leaflet, and staying in bed all day.
And watching Kitchen Nightmares. by
Yeah,
Gordon Ramsay.
watching Ready Steady
Absolutely.
Cook with Ainsley and Fern Britton, or Fern, what's her name? Don't know, but you know
Cotton.
that's what. Fern, no, I don't think Fern Cotton ever did it. But
No.
anyway, that's what Sundays are for, or Simpsons, or Futurama on, or Scrap Heap Challenge. Running.
Yeah, any form of exercise after a hangover.
Takeshi's Castle. That's
Oh,
what
Takeshi,
I'm
yes.
watching with a hangover.
Good shout out, to be
There
fair.
you go.
Good shout.
Absolutely.
Craig Charles special.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Right. Joe, I've been watching on YouTube recently. Robot Wars.
Decent, that.
Yeah,
Very
from like
decent.
2000, 99, 01. Oh, Jonathan Pierce. I've got a whole newfound level of respect for his commentating. He makes two robots, which, in today's standards are just dog shit. To be fair, I would admit I can't even change a light bulb. So when I say that, I say it with all due respect to the teams that put them together. He makes it sound like you're watching the World Cup final between, Maradona's Argentina and Brazil's Pele. It's fucking
It's
amazing.
not far off. Equivalent, isn't it?
It's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
Roy Clark says, surely you're forgetting Aaron Drinnan. Look, if this was Overreaction last year, Aaron Drinnan would have been called many things.
Who's
in the
Aaron
Overreaction.
Drinnan? Who's
Aaron.
Aaron Drinnan?
He's airing it. And your second one, Brandon, as we move it on, I'm liking these overreactions. I'm not quite sure about running with a hangover, reaction or otherwise. That's just, I'm drunk. I want to have a pizza. And I don't even like pizzas. Brandon.
Jude Bellingham will win 3 Ballon d'Ors in his career, minimum.
How is he going to do that when
He's bloody class, is what he is.
I've never actually seen him play football. I'm going to be honest. I've
Treat
never
yourself.
seen
Dortmund
Jude
Man
Bellingham.
City on. I think it's either tomorrow. Well, you won't be watching it tomorrow night if it's tomorrow night. Ipswich are on.
Absolutely, I'll be doing a match day ticket. You're correct.
Man City, yeah, it is tomorrow. Dortmund Man City tomorrow. Treat yourself. Watch the highlights, and you'll see Jude Bellingham ripping it up.
You see, I feel like Jude Bellingham he's unfairly critiqued because the only time I ever see him is in international duty. And to be fair, we could take Prime Pele and make him look absolute dog shit in an England team.
He'll move to the Prem next year, and you watch him take off. That's all I'll say.
Bellingham and Rice were set up well for the future.
Yeah, we're set up. That midfield 2 is the best that you're going to see at the World Cup.
There you go. All right. These are our overreactions. We'd love to have yours in the chat. It is Overreaction Monday, where you take the narrative, a point from the weekend of sport, TV, whatever it might be, and you give us the most wild overreaction. It can be a positive or a negative, but overreaction as you possibly can. So I've called Caden Jackson the greatest town striker ever, if not in recent memory. Brandon has said Jude Bellingham will win 3 Ballon d'Ors, and also we'll have 4 town players.
3, Wolfenden,
3.
Leif Davis, and ex-town Adam Webster will be at the 2026 World Cup.
And Tom has said running with a hangover is massively underrated, and if you're hanging on a Sunday afternoon, you should stick some Talking Town in your ears and pound the pavement. despite having sunk 17 Jaeger bombs. I can't see it though, Tom. Like, of all the overreactions, that's the most unrealistic one. I'm pretty sure.
I think Jaeger bombs is unrealistic for me, to be honest. But yeah,
Are you not a big fan of them?
no, I wake up at about 4 a.m. any time, and my heart is racing. Like I can't.
That's the whole point, really. To be fair, it's Red Bull.
I don't like it at all. Yeah,
just do the Jaeger. Leave the bomb. Leave the Red Bull. Just do the Jaeger.
Yeah, beer and wine, bit of whiskey will be all right.
Okay, fair enough. Moving it on. Port Vale tomorrow night. We'll have Ale and Vale with us a little while later to give us the Port Vale scouting report. But for us, I suppose the big issue is the centre of midfield. Sam Morsey suspended. Lee Evans has got himself a knee injury. Who's going to play in that midfield for you two? Is it going to be a Kamara and Ball, a Ball and Kamara? Is it going to be a Ball and Humphreys, a Humphreys and Ball? Or is it going to be a Humphreys and Kamara? There's so many different permutations that you could choose. Well, to be fair, there's only probably two. But, let's try and create the talking point. Tom, who's your midfield two and why?
Humphreys and Ball, because I think they're both ready to go, both fit. And Kamara's not ready for a full game. So, if anything, he comes on towards the end if he's fit enough to do so. So I think that's pretty much the only option we got, is the reason I picked it.
What's your expectation for Humphreys tomorrow night then? Away at Port Vale, could be his first. Would it be his first league start? I think it might be. If it could be
starting a game. I think it's certainly this season. I can't remember last season whether he I think he might have been chucked in at Charlton, maybe.
You're right. He might have been chucked in at Charlton.
Yeah, he got an assist.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, great assist.
But what's your expectation for him tomorrow night away?
I think he could do all right. I've had a look at Port Vale, played 7 at home, won 2, lost 2, drawn 3. So they're not exceptional at home.
No.
They're, what else are they? Joint 7 lowest scorers in the league. So, not exceptional going up front. I think we might be quite comfortable in that respect where we could control the game, but we've just got to do the business up front, which is a talking point in itself. So I think Cam will be all right in there. And I think Ball will be a perfect companion for him. So I'm not worried about him at all. And I'm glad he's going to get some game time, even though it's unfortunate that Evans, who's been probably much better than we all thought he would be this season, I think we've got that to look forward to. And I think Humphreys will be absolutely fine.
Yeah. Okay. Humphreys and Ball. Is there any way Kamara can start tomorrow night, Brandon? Or is it just that little bit too early in his recovery time? Do you feel a start? Or do you think the Ipswich Town setup, you would perhaps view it as too early?
I don't think so. You have 5 subs. I don't think it's out of the question. I would agree with the two that Tom said there. If you're thinking about, he played 45 minutes last week. He then played again for the under-21s, and you genuinely try and build those minutes up. So it's not out of the question that Kamara starts and Humphreys comes on after 60 minutes, I don't think. I don't think that's how they'll go, because everything we've heard coming out of the club from coaches and players is that Cameron Humphreys trains unbelievably well, and he's getting on really well around the squad. And look at it this way. This year, the only way he was going to get a first-team league start was in a situation like this, where there was a handful of injuries or suspensions to the midfield. And he's earned that chance in a way by being available, by playing well when he's had a chance. I think he has to start.
Paul Warren said on Friday after the Ipswich Town Derby game, in the Derby post-match comments on their YouTube show, he talked about his own injuries, and he said careers have been made off the back of injuries.
Yeah, spot on.
And he's very true there, Brandon. Careers have been made off the back of injuries. We don't know the extent fully of how long Lee Evans may miss. This is an opportunity now for a Kamara, a Humphreys, whoever it might be, a Disco Don Ball, whoever it might be, because all three haven't had the run of games. Obviously, Kamara's been injured, but haven't had the run of games that they all wanted. This is their chance now. Come in, wrestle it from a man that many wouldn't have dropped ever so far because of his ability so far this year, and create your career at Town.
Yeah, exactly that. I think Humphreys has got a case as well for the creativity that he brings, is to kind of show what he could probably do further up the pitch. Because I think there's a little bit of pressure on our number 10s at the minute. They're not clicking as much as they probably were at the start of the season. So I'm not saying Humphreys is going to go play number 10 straight away, but I think there's a case for him to go, well, I can play a bit further back. I can play up here. So I'm showing you what I can do all around the pitch. So I think that's a good case for him. Don Ball, we know where he's going to play. He's going to disrupt. He's going to sit back a bit more. So for him, it's to take Evans' spot. And I think for Humphreys, it's maybe to be up to third choice or playing a bit further up if we're lacking in creativity. So I think it's a great opportunity for the pair of them, to be honest.
Good shout, Lee Anderson. Big opportunity for Humphreys to grab the game. I think he means grab, but he said crab. Hopefully it's a chroma. Hopefully it's a chroma crab because they're the best crabs around. By the scruff of the neck and show he's arrived. Do you have when you have crab, Tom? Because I'm looking at your cheese board. I imagine you're big, crab, oysters, the works. No.
Nah, not unless it's in like a paella or something. But
just play with it. So I'm just say yes and then let him finish.
All right, that's my hard.
He loves crab.
Is it chroma? Is it chroma crab that you have up in Nottingham?
I have no idea, mate. To be honest, it's cod or pollock or something like that.
That's what I'm talking here. That's what I'm talking here, Tom. All pollock. Yeah. Just tell me otherwise. Love the dress crab. There's Lee Anderson. Okay, see, love the dress crab. Yeah. But yeah, Kamara. Paul P says the pitch might be a little heavy and cutting up for Kamara tomorrow, Tom. Which could be true. I guess I've not seen Port Vale's pitch, so
no, I've not either. But I think judging by just what Brandon was saying and the amount of minutes that Kamara's had, I think he's still in the process of coming back, having some appearances come on. We've got cup game coming up week after next, so I think that'll be a good opportunity for him to probably start a game. He'll probably be ready by then. So yeah, just for this game, I think those two will be fine. We've got Morsey back on Saturday, so no need to panic. I think they're perfectly fine. Hopefully perfectly fine for Port Vale away with respect to Port Vale. But we should be going to try and get a result there. So, yeah, I think
they're all very different players as well, aren't they, the three of them? They all have completely different traits. I know we haven't really seen much of Kamara, but from what you maybe can see when he was at Plymouth and what we've seen, obviously, of Humphreys and Ball, I think that Kamara is a ball carrier. He's maybe a bit similar to Morsey with a bit more flair. Humphreys is someone who wants it at his feet to create, and John Ball is someone who wants to absolutely have a scrap with everyone who comes within 5 yards of him. So it's going to be about striking the balance if Lee Evans is away, and it might have to be trial and error with who we do partner with Morsey when he's back. But all three of them have a chance. I'm sure that Kieran McKenna will try out all of them in training and see what works and see what doesn't. And it's going to be horse for courses, maybe in centre midfield going forward as well.
Good shout. Horses for courses. They're going to try them all out. But players we have tried out in numerous times now behind that striker is the number 10. Tom mentioned it a little while ago. Who's it going to be this week? Friday, it was Marcus Harness. Before that, it was Connor Chaplin. And you call him Christian Chaplin. Don't know why. Is it going to be this week for you, Tom? Is it still Marcus Harness or is it going to be a Connor Chaplin in behind?
Both. Yeah, I think the pair of them. I was surprised not to see Chaplin play on Friday, and yeah, I was surprised I didn't see him. He didn't come on, did he? So it was
no, he didn't. No,
I was quite surprised by that.
He was about to. I think he was about to. Him and Carl Edwards were about to come on when Ipswich scored, and then obviously it's goals change games, don't they? So
yeah.
Maybe it could be Harness and Chaplin, though. Who's your front three? I guess is behind the striker. Who's your front three? That's the easier question to ask you both.
So for me, it's Harness and Chaplin. Harness, I think it's been brought up as well that like the touch and turns that he had probably in the first half were quite good, but I felt he lacked a bit for me second half, and I felt
he fell off after 70th minute. I would have taken him off. He seemed a bit leggy, I think.
It just wasn't clicking at all. But I do like him, and I like how hard he works. So I think we need that kind of industry in behind. And I've stuck with Jackson up top. I know Big Fred wasn't on for as long as he probably wanted to be, but I think just in the performance, it didn't show enough for me. I expected a little bit more, work rate, a bit more physicality perhaps, but I think Jackson has done enough in his work rate to get another crack at it. And we do tend to play Jackson in away games anyway, so that kind of suggests we're going to probably use him to stretch the play. That's
Are you actually playing Caden Jackson as a striker?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's not something that McKenna's seemingly done that often. Like when Tom, like just that Friday, John Jules was up the front with Jackson as a winger.
I never really know where John Jules plays.
Don't think he does. Sometimes he does.
Centre midfield on Friday night, wasn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, he was more deeper than Morsey was a lot of times.
He's not there as number 9, and he kind of it's some sort of hybrid rotation 10-9 position, which I can't quite work out. Which I will leave to the professional coaches.
9.5, we'll call it for now, Tom.
9.5. All right, he's there. That's a good compromise, but I can't really work out where he plays. But yeah, I would only stick for Jackson for the width it gives us and the pace. Yeah. But again, it was brought up on Saturday's chat, and it has been brought up loads and time again. We need a proper number 9, and we need to sign one in January. And I think that's really evident at the minute. Like, we're scoring enough compared to other teams, which does surprise me, but there's more we can do. And I think if we strengthen in January, like we didn't do when Mick was in charge under Evans, then that will catapult us over the line. But we just can't keep with what we've got for the rest of the season. I don't think that will help us.
Okay. Yeah. Love the comments coming in. Love those comments, Tom. We've got Paul P. If Evans is bad enough to require a scan, it implies he might be out for a while. Definite opportunity for someone else to stake a claim. Lee, you can't fault Jackson's work rate out on wing for Lee. Jacob Farrell, Ladapo starts for me. Hold values defenders up and slip Jackson on to frustrate them a little bit more. Last 20. Mike's upset when mentioning Caden Jackson, but Mike needs to put some respect on the best striker Town have ever had. According to my overreaction, of course. Brandon, your front 3-4, please. What are they going to be?
I'm going Burns on the right, Chaplin back in the middle, and Harness on the left. And then up front, I'm going Caden as well. I think if you're looking at everyone picks holes at our strikes, and I agree that we desperately need one come January. But if you're looking saying Jackson doesn't score enough goals up front, Freddie Ladapo's got 2 league goals. Tyrese John Jules has also got 2 league goals. And Caden Jackson, off the top of my head, he's probably got 2 as well, hasn't he? Somewhere along the line, he's probably got 2. So I'm thinking McKenna's front 3 or 4, whatever you want to say, on Friday night, he was clearly thinking Derby's back line, although they're decent footballers or have been, they're OAPs. We'll put our quickest players against their slower ones, and we'll see who comes out. I think that in transition, Ipswich were really good, but we were poor in possession, and it's probably the opposite for Derby. I think whenever we gave the ball to Derby in promising areas, they were too slow, and it ended up back at their goalkeeper, and then they had, empty calorie possession, if you will. But I thought that our press was really good up top. I think he would want more of that away. I've seen that Port Vale play a back 3, and often in League One, back 3s tend to not have much pace in it, although we have Danassian and Wolfie has some legs on him. Just literally stretch the back 3 all game, run at him, get him behind, absolutely knacker him out. And then Tyrese John Jules, Ladapo, whoever you want to bring off the bench, can then take advantage of tired players. We saw it work against Cambridge. I know that we started Ladapo. He grinded them down a different way. He was budging and barging them and all that. But just get Caden Jackson, Harness and Burns in behind for 60-odd minutes. And if we haven't got a goal by then, I'm sure that our subs can come on and take advantage of the goal after.
Okay, love it. I'm loving it. The positivity is shining through, despite not having your first pair central midfielders. Colin does say anyone wanting to pre-guess Kieran McKenna's lineup tomorrow night, good luck with that. I don't know. I think Ladapo might get a nod tomorrow night.
As I say, it depends on what he's seen with Port Vale. Then, if he sees an opportunity to maybe, as we've lost a bit of physicality in the midfield, with not being able to have Morsey and Evans, and Humphreys is maybe a bit more lightweight, he might go for Ladapo with a bit more physicality up top, or as I said, he might just go for the pace options. It's completely. We haven't watched every minute of Port Vale. I'm sure McKenna has probably watched a large amount of that in the last 3 days or so, and his weekend off. So
you should hope so. You've had 2 days off, Kieran. Come on, get on with it, son. So score predictions then for Port Vale Ipswich. We've got Johnny from Ale and Vale joining us in a couple of moments, where we're going to break down the Port Vale scout report, how they play, players to look out for, top goal scorer, and of course the all important where to drink, where to eat, where to park. The all important stuff here on Talking Town every single show. Score prediction first of all, Tom, from you.
2-1 Town.
2-1. Love it. Lovely. A good old Coxie 2-1. Brandon?
I'll go 2-0. I still think we have the best backline in the league, and Wolfenden's going to be at the next World Cup after this one, so you better get a clean sheet.
I do love Overreaction Monday. It's always good fun. And of course, we do have the Prediction League running this week, the midweek Prediction League, rather. Thanks very much from Matt Stannard. Port Vale Ipswich is a game mentioned. Burnley, Norwich, Wickham, Cambridge, and Colchester, Crawley. Burnley versus Norwich. Talking of, over the weekend's action, Norwich 2-0 up.
Done at Plymouth.
Did a Plymouth.
Done at
Fumbled
Plymouth.
it away. Bumbled it away.
Are we
Tom?
doing the Jukebox, Mark?
We are in a second. Yeah, I'm
we
getting
are?
there.
Beautiful.
I'm getting
I'm
there.
looking
I'm
forward to
getting there. Don't jump ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm so
Don't jump
sorry.
ahead. Don't jump
I'm
ahead.
just
from me.
excited. That's all.
I bet. I don't know what your song entry is. It better not be a Patriot song. A New England Patriot song.
No.
That is. Tom, Prediction League, Burnley, Norwich. What are your thoughts on that? Can Norwich rebound? Do you think, or do you think Burnley are going to just stick the dagger through and job done? Bob-eyed Agent Smith.
I think they'll rebound against other teams, but I think 1-0 Burnley for this one. Yeah.
1-0 Burnley.
Yeah.
Is he in danger there, do you think?
A danger?
Yeah, Dean Smith. Is he in danger, do you think?
If they're not in the playoffs by the turn of the year, I mean, what are they now? I don't follow the championship, to be honest, because we're not in it. But where are they?
Let's start, Tom, because we'll be back there soon. They're in 7th. They're a point outside the top 6.
They really?
Something like 17th place, are like 8 points off top, or something stupid like that at the moment.
17th to Stoke have 19, and top has 30.
It is stupid.
Christ, wow.
It's stupid at the moment.
Yeah, 26th is Millwall in 6th. They've got 26 points, and Coventry in the bottom 3 have 16. So,
Wow.
You win 5 games in a row and you're buzzing.
Yeah. What I was going to say, without knowing the table, is just like, well, if it doesn't seem they're in contention by Christmas time in the January window, then it's got to be at risk, surely. But sounds like they're not going too well. So, oh well. Adios.
Who's your captain tomorrow then? Roy Clark asks, who will be captain? Who's your captain tomorrow, Brandon?
Donasian.
The Don. Tom?
Don Ball, I think.
Disco Dom. Okay, I'll ask you both. Why Donasian, first of all, Brandon?
I think you're looking for people who lead by example. And I think Donasian, although he's had a bit of a dip in terms of some form compared to what we saw sort of towards the back end of last year, I think he leads by example in terms of his work rate up and down that right side, from right back, right centre back, whatever you want to call it. And I think you can almost create a leader out of opportunities like this. Like, you have people who might be in the pitch, whether it be Keogh, Wolfenden, Edmondson, Burns, people like that. They lead based on sort of their ability and things like that. But if you give the armband to Donasian, you might find a quality leader out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Lots of shouts for Edmondson in the chat by John, Colin, Max says Fridge will take the armband. Wolfie from Jeremy, Fridge from Lee. Tom, you mentioned your captain was going to be Disco Dom. Why Disco Dom?
Just a bit of steel in the middle of the park. I think he puts his foot in. He's an intelligent bloke, as I think we've established by now. Not saying the rest of them aren't, but
Published author,
yeah. No, to be honest, like, Donasian is a very, very good shout for captaincy as well. So either of them, I'd be very happy, but those would be the two I'd pick from. I've just gone for Ball, just because he's an enforcer in the middle, and I think it suits that type of style. But if it's Donasian, great. I like the bloke.
Fair enough. Absolutely. And your jukebox. Every week we had a song before the next game into the Talking Town jukebox. It's looking rather full, but we love it. But it's a poll, so I'll put a poll into the YouTube comment section just a second with both the choices. The viewers at home will choose. So, in your best X Factor, this is my story and why I should win. What is this song? What does it mean to you? And why should those at home vote for you? Tom?
We're going today for Disco Inferno by the Tramps. So, Burn Baby Burn, Disco Inferno. We've got Burns, we've got Disco Dom in there. There we go. Enjoy yourselves.
Like it. Okay. Brandon, you've been eagerly awaiting this one. So if that's not reason enough for those at home to vote for you, because he's been waiting for it all day, vote for it, vote against him. What is your song and why?
I was actually picking between about 3. I have 3. So I have future ones, would you believe?
Love it.
I've went for Can't Stop by Red Hot Chili Peppers, right?
Can't
And the
stop.
reason is because we can't stop in terms of picking up points, because if we don't pick up a win tomorrow, it outdoes the excitement and the happiness that we got last Friday. And if you just want to take a moment after this podcast, of course, and listen to the first 30 seconds of that song, the start of that song is the best start of any song I've ever heard. And that is how we want Ipswich to start tomorrow night. So
It's not even the
just treat
best
yourself.
song called Can't Stop, Brandon. Miley Cyrus has that.
Listen to
Has
the
that award.
first 33 seconds, Martin, and tell me that doesn't A, get you pumped, and B, does make you sit back and go, oh, there's not a better song that starts with song in the world, is there? No, it's not. No, of course there's not.
I'll listen to it
Treat
after the
yourself.
show for sure, particularly if it wins the actual poll. Currently, Tom is absolutely running away with it. I'm going to break your heart to tell you, Brandon. It's 77% so far, but plenty of time left. I'll keep it running while Ale and Vale are talking us through. Before I let you both go, Tom, one player you expect to be man of the match tomorrow, and why?
I expect Leif Davis to be man of the match tomorrow because of the way Leif Davis is playing at the minute. And I
Perfect.
think he's just going to keep going.
Well, he's going to have to because he's in Brandon's World Cup in 2026.
No, exactly.
So he's
Yep.
going to bloody have to keep going and going by some distance. But Tom, been a pleasure talking football with you for the last 46 minutes. Look after yourself. And
Cheers,
upper town, son.
See you later. Good to see you.
Upper town. Brandon, you're man of the match tomorrow, and why?
I'm going to go for Disco Don Ball.
Love it.
I think that, first of all, a lot of attention is going to be put on the two in midfield. So if one of them has a good game, that's what everyone's going to be talking about after in terms of man of the match, regardless of whether one of the back three have a really good game or whatever. They're going to be the names on people's lips. And I just think that Don Ball is going to absolutely break up play, not Port Vale players' legs. He's going to break up play.
Fair enough. There we go. So Disco, Dom and Leif Davis. And the last question I'll ask you is score prediction for tonight's Bears-Patriots game, please.
I'm going to go 27-9 New England Patriots.
Well, I'm not going to guess you're going to go for the Bears to score 27 points. That's just
Maybe
absolute
2.7.
nonsense. I'm going to go 21-14 Bears.
Wow.
I'm a Bears fan, but in private, as you know, I've been saying all day, it's going to be an absolute car
Yeah,
crash.
don't listen to him. He's
Really don't.
fake. All right. It's been a pleasure, Martin.
Enjoy. I know you're going to watch the game this evening. I may well do the same, but I probably won't. I'll probably wait till the morning to
I'll
suffer
check if you're right at 5 a.m. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, I normally wait
You're
till
right,
the early
mate.
hours of the morning for disappointment. But
You're right,
Brandon, I appreciate you coming on tonight. Look after yourself.
Cheers,
All
mate.
the best. We have got Ale and Vale joining us in just a moment. Lots of chat in the conversation about Jackson's performance from Friday, the Nash's performance from Friday. Absolutely love that. Currently, the poll is 75% in favour of Tom's song choice. Will he win? I do not know. Cure says if Carl is man of the match means we win nicely. Absolutely. Carl Edwards says Mike D, man of the match. Nobody mentioned Carl Edwards this evening as playing. Will he start tomorrow? I don't know. But joining me, first of all, from Ale and Vale is Johnny. Johnny, welcome in, my man. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to seeing what Port Vale bring to the table tomorrow. You know, obviously sat in 14th, 19 points. First of all, how's your season gone so far, Johnny, from your perspective?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, being the last team promoted comes with a bit of pressure. We had a lot less time to prepare, and we didn't really have a squad fully assembled till the end of the transfer window. So we kind of had a pre-season within the season, which was different.
Yeah.
But overall, we're tracking probably about where you'd expect. We picked up a few points, like Derby away, winning there, that you wouldn't have expected to, but then we've dropped a couple of points along the way. So yeah, we're doing what we want at the moment.
Comfortably mid-table, not fighting the relegation zone just yet. Doing what you want. Was the Derby win pre-warn or
it was his first home game.
First home game. So we'll call that pre-warn. I think they're a different side now. Obviously, he's League One's sort of Superman, if you like, is Paul Warne. He knows how to get a team out of the division. But how are Port Vale playing? You know, what's your formation? What's your style of play? What can town fans expect tomorrow from yourselves?
So we play a 3-5-2, but it's very direct. Mostly because the pitch is not the best condition at the minute.
Okay.
We've had a bit of work done on it, and it doesn't seem to have taken like we would have expected. So it's a bit bobbly, a bit sandy, and Chef Wednesday a couple of weeks back weren't very happy with it. So, but yeah, we're quite a direct side, and it's probably the best way to say is that we rely a lot on the front two.
Which are who?
James Wilson and Alice Harrison.
Ellie Harrison, who of course we will be very familiar with, having been at Town in the year we were relegated. How's he doing for you? He's your top goal scorer, right? 7 goals.
Yes, he is. Everything he's touching at the minute's turned into gold dust. So we're not going to complain. I don't know if he's changed much since you guys had him, but he's a bit awkward with the ball. He's got quite a particular running style, but he's strong as an ox, and for someone that's 5'10", outjumps majority of centre halves. So our only concern about him is he's on 4 bookings for the season already because he likes a striker's tackle.
Well, sadly he will be available against us. So whether he gets that isn't going to help us. But Ellie Harrison's a funny one, Johnny, because we didn't really see much of him before he departed. So we can't really say whether he's changed a hell of a lot or not from the player we saw. But what you've described is very much how we probably would have described it ourselves: a strong player who isn't the biggest, but somehow outjumps a player that you would think he would be able to do. So a big centre half isn't going to phase him. For example, he can certainly win it in the air. But an instinctive finisher. So 7 goals. You're leading marksman by some distance. Am I right? Because your next one is on 2. Right?
Next one's on 2 goals, yeah. But I think we've got 4 or 5 then on 2, and a handful on 1 as well. So we do spread the goals around, but we are reliant on Harrison at the moment.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being reliant on the actual striker. That is almost what they're paid to do. We forget that as fans sometimes. We say we're too reliant on. Well, they are paid to score the goals. That is the idea, I guess. Still, is there any midfield players we should be aware of? Any creative outlet? Is there? You say you're direct, but everything's got to start somewhere. Is it literally from goalkeeper to the front two? Is it a midfielder that's going to be looking to dictate the play? Who's sort of your magic man?
Yeah, so Tom Pett, we took him from Lincoln a couple of seasons ago and turned him from an attacking midfielder to a holding midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
So last year in League Two, he was the 4th highest at winning the ball back. So he does that really well. Again, someone that is quite small, so maybe deceives a little bit. He's got this knack of he'll win the ball, he'll put his body in between the man and the ball, and then just hit the deck and win a free kick and break up play. Quite good.
So he's savvy.
Yeah, so that's nice with Petty, and he's a good footballer. The midfield 3 as a unit though is very workmanlike at the moment. Our captain Tom Conlon's just come back from a long knee injury, so he's kind of playing his way back into it. Which is frustrating at times to fans because there's a better player in there, but on the flip side, we've got to do something to get it back to that player, or else it's pointless just saying it. So, and then Ben Garrity's the other one usually, who scored 10 goals last season from midfield, and he's very non-league in terms of he's a runner, he's an athlete, and he likes to get his body in and he tries hard, but as a footballer, it's not the best. Although his ball into Forest on Saturday was probably the best pass he's made all season. So hopefully he's working on that.
Okay, so Ben, he has 1 goal to his name, Ben Garrity.
Yeah, Garrity has 1 this time round. Yeah, but he got 10 last season, I think.
So no, okay. So an interesting one to watch out for. A couple of comments coming in. We've got Mike D. Wilson, highly rated at Man United. If you like, is he fit at the moment? And a follow-up question coming in also from Rob was Harrison and Wilson missed Saturday due to injury. Are they fit for tomorrow?
Unfortunately, with Darryl Clark, we haven't got a clue. He doesn't like to give much away, and there was as much chance as both of them had broken the leg over the last week as they were both rested. He does not give anything away in terms of team selection. He always says, "Ask me after the game," and then when you ask him after the game, he says, "Well, we've got a game in 4 days, so ask me after that one." So I'd be as surprised to see him start as not start. But Willow has just had a calf injury in the summer, so returned late, looked to be back in form, and then missed Saturday. Part of me believes it was tactical because Cambridge, you could afford him to miss Cambridge rather than the next 2 games we've got. But then it's a big gamble by doing that because you've then got to win against Cambridge, and if you don't, it puts a hell of a lot of pressure on you.
Yes, yeah, and games come thick and fast within this division, as I'm sure they did in League Two as well. We know that very much. So, before we go into the infrastructure around the football club, best place to eat, drink, park, etc., etc. What 3 words would you think accurately sum up Port Vale?
The team, or the playing style, or
the team. So the playing style, the team. 3 words. Because for Ipswich, I'd probably say possession, dominant, exciting. Is what I would say. On this pitch, I'm thinking, not sure how that's going to work out. But so, what sort of 3 words would you sort of say Port Vale were, etc.?
I'd say aggressive, direct, and entertaining, because you never know which Port Vale side's going to turn up.
Okay, so very much yin and yang in terms of style and practicality and the way they play. Which I'm not, one having just come up from the league below, one looking to go up to the next league up with all the money and the riches that they've brought in this year. Leif Davis, $1.5 million. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I guess that is football. That was what you would expect. One's got to play the percentage game, and one's arguably should have the silkier players. But the pitch is the leveler. Is that right? The pitch is going to be the real leveler tomorrow, and it's going to be about grit and determination.
Yeah, 100%. I think a massive positive for us is Morsey's out. I think it's his sort of game.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that myself. So here, I'm thinking, fuck.
It's definitely, obviously, we know a bit about Sam. We give him his league debut. He spent a good 2 and a bit years with us, and then Mickey Adams decided bomb him out because as a 19-year-old on TV on a Friday night, he decided to get himself sent off for 2 stupid yellow cards. But it wasn't really worth bombing him out. But Adams hung him out to dry, and that was his management style. So he ended up going off to Chesterfield. They got a shit ton of money for him, and we're sat there going, could have been us that.
Yeah, we've been on the receiving end of that myself, mate. That's just football sometimes, and it's never us. You always think it's never us. Why can't that have been us, etc., etc. Interesting game then. One obviously with Morsey being suspended and Evans being injured, we're looking to possibly start a 19-year-old. So not, I think he's 19, could be 20. Certainly a young player, still in the early infancy of his career. Around the ground, many people will be travelling up. It's a Tuesday night. So first of all, best place to park if they're travelling by the car.
If travelling by the car, the club has got a rather large car park at the away end. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's good. Other than that, there's a few bits of street parking nearby, but you be careful. There is a residential area now. And in the local paper, they have been saying that people have been ticketed the other Saturday. So just keep an eye out if you are parking on the streets for the residential parking in place.
Keep your eyes out, guys. Make sure you read the signage around where you're parking, I guess. Once you're parked up, best place to go and grab a beverage, whichever that may be of your choice.
So there's a big-ish bar on the away end car park called Tommy Cheadle's. That's obviously for away fans, and so that's decent size. And if you like real ale and the police are letting people, because unfortunately Bolton, Chef Wednesday, they were told they weren't allowed in town before the game. So definitely something to check. But the Bull's Head allows away fans in. That's a real ale pub. There's some nice beers.
Nice. Okay. Nice. I like that. But check they're letting people in town because for Bolton and Wednesday they didn't. Is that right?
Yeah, for Bolton and Wednesday they made them drink in Newcastle rather than in Burslem. But obviously that was a Saturday, so yeah, and we have got a bit of history with Bolton fans.
Okay.
It wasn't very nice last time we played them. So
yeah, that leads me on to a sort of a side question I've got. Matt wanted to know: Port Vale are the only English Football League club not to be named after a place. Their name being a reference to the Valley of Ports on the Trent and Mersey Canal. So how? Yeah. So is that why you call Port Vale?
there's a couple of rumours. That's one. Another one was that it was Port V that specialised in ale on the canal. So when they wrote it down, it was Port v Ale. So
nice.
How
do you end up a Port Vale fan? Matt rounds up the question being.
It's the heart of the community.
Oh, okay.
So growing up in Burslem, you'll see when you get there, the ground is at the bottom of a housing estate. So it was just natural. That my high school was a 30-second walk from the ground, so you don't really have a choice.
I like it, a bit like Ipswich, really. Heart of the community. Don't really have a choice, but you wouldn't swap it for the world, I bet, John.
Well, sometimes I don't know.
Well, okay, yeah. When Haaland scoring his 400th league goal in 30 games.
Yeah, you might not fancy a bit of that for one season.
Another question is, where can the Cruncher get his pre-match meal from? He wants to know the best place to get his meal from.
I'd probably say not in Stoke. Burslem isn't. There's nowhere to eat. Is the honest answer in Burslem. There's a burger van on the way up, which is nice, and the food in the ground's good. But if you're after something proper, the closest pub that does food is the Moorland Inn, which is about a 15-minute walk from the ground. So it's doable. There's a big car park there, and obviously let people park there and whatnot. So that does your basic pub grub. But apart from that, there's no real foodie type places other than a couple of takeaways in such in town.
Okay, there we go. Job done. So nowhere really near the ground except your old near the ground except your old traditional burger places.
Yeah, pretty much. If you can wait till after final whistle, there's 4 or 5 really nice curry houses though. So depends on what he's doing after the game.
What's your go-to curry dish?
If it's in Burslem, it's called garlic chili. It's lovely. But
I'm a good curry fan myself. I do like a good curry. I'd have it every night of the week if I probably could. That and burgers. They're my 2 favourite things. It sounds like Port Vale's right up my street here.
Yeah,
burgers and curry and burgers. Jobs are good. As we finish tonight's show, then ahead tomorrow night, we are live at 7:15 for the Matchday ticket, the pre-game show. Then, of course, at full time, the moment the full time whistle goes, we'll be live getting the fans' reaction. Johnny, your score prediction for tomorrow night, then, please.
Head says 2-1 defeat. Heart says 1-1 draw.
Okay. And your expected Port Vale man of the match, please, and why?
Nathan Smith, because he loves these sort of games. He's a proper centre half, and if Freddie Ladapo's playing up against him, it'll be quite interesting because Smithy loves a little pinch and a tread on the toes and a pull at the shirt and the dark arts of football from a centre half. So he's already had one lad sent off for swinging an arm at him this season. Away at Derby, James Collins gave him a black eye. And then the other week, Connor Wickham didn't like it and kicked him in the ribs, but Connor Wickham got away with it because the referee and all the officials pretended they didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Smithy does that, so it's his sort of game.
Interesting. Looking forward to it. So Smith, man of the match for yourself, and your heart says obviously a Port Vale win, but your brain's perhaps disagreeing with it ever so slightly.
Yeah.
We've all been there. Johnny from Ale and Vale, just tell people at home where they can find you.
So we're on Twitter at Ale and Vale Pod and Spotify, and there's a few other places, but it's automatic. That is, I just know it's on Spotify.
Yeah, Brilliant. Johnny, look after yourself. Thanks for coming on, and good luck, but not tomorrow night.
Cheers, mate.
Look after yourself. There we go. We are done and dusted for this evening. This is obviously Talking Town and FCA 21 and 22 finalist presentation. Don't forget, 7:15 pre-game show. We are live as we build up to Port Vale away in what is going to be looking like a really blood, thunder, passion type of game on a beach. Johnny just saying there, lots of sand knocking around. Interesting one. Do you think Sam Morsey's sort of game that he's not going to play in? Dominic Ball, someone said in the chat, could be very well up for it. Don't forget, we've got a prediction league you can play in. Conscious Talking Town ticket giveaway is up and running for Cheltenham. Get yourself in there. Get yourself, all you need to do is be subscribed to Talking Town. The graphics on Twitter. £10 from David. Thank you so much, David. Appreciate your support throughout the show and throughout the course of the shows. It's really appreciated. And if you want to follow David's great lead, you can do a super chat, hit the join button, or go to our Ko-Fi site and become a Talking Town 5th standard today. It truly is appreciated, particularly at the moment. But we're done. Tomorrow, 7:15 pre-game show, post-game show. I'm the Gov, Tom, Brandon, and of course Johnny. But hopefully the next time you sit, well, not the next time, but this time next week, we're sitting here 6 points in the bank, but particularly 3 points after tomorrow. With love, with Ken. Don't forget, our Monday overreaction was Caden Jackson is the best player to ever grace God's green earth.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you.
Hello again, friends, and you are my friends. So tactic 1 of possible 2 is a 4-2-3-1 GGM press, a positive mentality, looking for big things from Connor Chaplin in behind the striker in the shadow role, looking for Marcus Harness, a new signing from Portsmouth, not made by me, made by the real manager in real life. Another decent little player. The back two, Edmondson and Wolfenden. Again, big things expected from them. We've got a really strong nucleus here. And Lee Evans is going to be my dictator, my deep line playmaker, the man that makes it tick, makes it all absolutely run. The one area of weakness I've got is the right side of defence. I want to fall back on attack. Can Janoy Danashian do that? I don't know is the answer. Probably not. He's a no-nonsense fullback. KVY, Kane Vincent Young, wanted by Motherwell. I'll be looking to sell him on and add to the £1 million